When your team needs that little bit of extra fight to win games, it helps if your manager shows all the hallmarks of being someone not to mess with. Players will know in uncertain terms that making errors will not lead to a pretty outcome. Marko Arnautovic was a brave man going in for a scrap with Stoke boss Mark Hughes at the weekend. Marko Arnautovic has argument with Mark Hughes and fans as he is subbed off, and while that could strike the fear of God into them, knowing that nothing less than 3 points will please the raging bull on the sidelines, it could well eke out that little bit extra. Fresh from Mark Hughes confronting former player Marko Arnautovic in Stoke's fiery clash against West Ham, Sunsport checks out 6 of football's hardest managers. Mark Hughes. Well, start with the man himself, who was involved in an ugly spat with one of his former players yesterday. Mark Hughes is without doubt one of the Premier League's fieriest managers. The Stoke boss was prepared to go at it with Arnautovic, the man he flogged to West Ham in the summer for a deal that could be worth as much as £25 million. Arnautovic had celebrated wildly after scoring against his former employers, before milking the West Ham support when he made his way off the pitch. All in Big Sam set to make stunning move for Premier League striker. This incensed Hughes, and it's not a good idea to get him angry. As a player, Sparky was a defender's nightmare. Tall and powerful, Hughes would do everything and anything to win the ball. He would be spitting feathers when he was booked or sent off for his action style. The referees were often desperate to get away from the anger. As a manager, you can see Hughes has managed to channel his still obvious temperament. But behind those grey cells, and the dressing room door, you can bet the fire still rages on. News Group Newspapers Limited. As a player, Mark Hughes gave defenders a torrid time with raw strength and even more desire. Gennaro Gattuso, the Italian midfielder, was renowned for his combative displays in the middle of the park, and would be snapping at opponents' heels for the full 90 minutes. He is now managing AC Milan, aged 39, with the Italian having recently taken over at the San Siro. But Gattuso showed all of his tenacity in explosive circumstances one April day back in 2011. AC Milan were hosting Tottenham when Gattuso clashed with Joe Jordan, a feared Scottish coach and former footballer nicknamed Jaws. Gennaro Gattuso must have been confident in his fighting style by taking on hard-ass nails. Joe Jordan, the Phoenix Milan midfielder, even planted a headbutt on Joe Jordan, who was then coach at Spurs back in 2011. Gennaro Gattuso was the very definition of a combative central midfielder. Gattuso grabbed Jordan by the throat, and then reportedly headbutted the then Spurs staffer after the game. The bearded hot pot showed no fear taking on one of the elite members of old-school footy. Gattuso has a huge job on his hands trying to turn around Milan's season. They are a lowly 7th in Serie A. But if the players don't start making an effort, they could well be on the end of that Italian passion. Italy midfielder Gennaro Gattuso stands over a stricken Zdeno Sturba as if asking what he could have possibly done. Gennaro Gattuso says a stabbing would be less painful than a defeat for AC Milan. Sinisa Mihailovic, the Serbian, was the epitome of a nonsense, old-fashioned centre-half. If the ball needed kicking, it was kicked. If a player did too, that would also happen. He collected 11 red cards in his career, spent mostly in Serie A. One of these came in 2003 against Chelsea, where he booted, then shamelessly spat at Blues striker Adrian Mutu. Sinisa Mihailovic saw red cards plenty of times in his career, and as a manager he sees red often enough. He has taken a similar nonsense approach to his management style. As Serbia boss, he booted out Adem Lajic after he failed to sing the national anthem. He is now managing Torino in Serie A. The Torino manager and former Serbia defender lost the plot with the officials during the Turin derby earlier this year against Juventus. Mihailovic was sent off back in 2003 playing for Lazio when he booted, and then spat at, Chelsea's Adrian Mutu. Diego Simeone, the Argentinian, is perhaps best known to England fans for that moment, where he fell to the floor theatrically after David Beckham needlessly kicked out at him. Beckham was shown a straight red card during the 1998 France World Cup, and unsurprisingly, Simeone managed to get up and continue the game. You wouldn't want to upset Diego Simeone as a player, with his heart firmly planted on his sleeve, but what was most surprising was Simeone's reaction. He always gave as good as he got as a player, so to see him recoil backwards was strange but clever. Simeone was an ankle-snapping central midfield for Argentina, as well as the likes of Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan and Lazio. He is now manager at Atletico, and is well regarded as a fiery and tempestuous figure on the touchline. Back in 1998, Diego Simeone took a tumble after David Beckham kicked out Kim Milton-Nielsen was left with little option but to send off David Beckham, but Diego Simeone's reaction was not in keeping with his tough midfielder persona. Diego Simeone, pictured here in the year 200 with blood pouring down his face, was a combative midfielder as a player. Sean Dyche, like a ginger Stone Cold Steve Austin. Check your WWE sites. Bumping into gravel-voiced Dyche in a dark alley could a frightening experience. Now elevating Burnley to dizzying heights in the Premier League, Dyche as a player was a fearsome tackler, best known for giving blood, sweat and tears as captain of Chesterfield in the 1990s. As a manager, Dyche looks similarly as dominant on the touchline in his long black coat, with the turf moor playing staff not likely to want to get on the wrong side of the gaffer. Sean Dyche has managed to get Burnley into a lofty position in the Premier League and clearly won't take any slacking. Sean Dyche, seen here for Watford in his playing days, was a nonsense defender. Sam Allardyce: we just had to get Big Sam in there. He's brash, forthright and honest, all evidently skills that have seen him bag top managerial jobs throughout his career. Even England for a bit, anyway. Sam Allardyce charging at you after a bad performance would be the thing of nightmares. Big Sam was not happy after one of his Sunderland players fouled in a game against Norwich, so got involved in the scuffle. Yes, he may have been caught on camera dancing away on holiday, but even hardnuts need their time to relax and unwind, right? Another nonsense defender as a player, Allardyce played for 9 clubs, making just short of 500 appearances. As a manager, while always seeming to enjoy a laugh and a joke with the media, he can leave reporters squirming in despair and wanting to get out of there with his short answers and cutting answers. Sam Allardyce, in action during his playing days with Coventry, ensured Kenny Dalglish was going nowhere. Everton boss Sam Allardyce gives his thoughts on mobile phone fines and Bitcoin.